is about affecting people here in the U.S. Because yes, we're talking about raising funds for people that have needs in Africa, but most people aren't going to go to Africa.
Right.
And the challenge will be, what things can we do in our own communities? What ways can we benefit local groups that are doing work here? So I think, my biggest thing is I feel like our outreach to you guys in cities all over the country is an opportunity for everybody to recognize what they can do in their own community. The other thing is I've seen how by looking at something that's really far away, like I was talking about with Africa, all of a sudden it puts in focus what's going on in your own community, which is such an irony. Just because nobody wants to look in the mirror. It's scary. But if that's what it takes, then I say do it. The other thing is to keep in mind the scale of the emergency that's going on in Africa. There's nothing that compares to it in this country. If you look at, there's a litany of issues. If you get into it, there's so many layers of things that are causes among themselves. The sex trade that's gone on with children, slave trade with people that are purchased. You've got child labor. You've got all kinds of poverty-related issues, AIDS, and so there's so many things that are happening all at the same time across the whole continent that
You kind of have to pick your issue.
well, you have to pick your issue, and you also have to remember that there's not a comparison between what's going on here and there. It is above and beyond anything that goes on in this country, and it's really, you have to take a big. The reason why it's kind of a challenge for what we've been trying to say is, I feel like you both have to have a really broad perspective of it and realize that this is kind of a challenge for our whole time in history. Historically, there's never been a disease that has practically targeted youth, but at the same time, we have to approach it in a very, very, very one-to-one way. So we have to keep in mind that the challenge is for everyone, for a whole age group, not just for young people now, but especially for us coming of age today, because it's our peers that are dying, and we need to be accountable to it, because it's our children that will be the peers of the next generation, and realize that the way we're going to face it is by taking this one-to-one direct approach of saying, you know what, I got one pair of shoes I can give you, and that will make the greatest lasting difference. But I would say one last thing, which is, if you're concerned about what's going on in your community, I would say do something here in your community that you're passionate about with your whole heart, and tell everybody else about it, because that will only encourage anything we're doing, anything that we're talking about. That inertia of saying, you know what, I love that the guys are talking about helping children struggling with AIDS in Maputo, Mozambique, but I want to make sure that I can walk down to the corner and help this family that needs my help in Pittsburgh. And tell everybody about that, because it's the accountability that's hard. So just do it, Nike.
Actually, I got